Appreciate your time. I think it's just a wonderful thing to see all these beautiful people coming together as a community of entrepreneurs to learn, to better themselves, to all really help connect in a meaningful way. So my topic today is going to be boost your learning skills. So everyone here learns every day, but we probably haven't consciously thought about actually increasing our ability to learn and making a plan to what we should be learning and how to learn better. So I hope everyone is excited, as Will Farrell here. Learning is my favorite. I enjoy learning, and it's one of my passions. So by the end, I want you to go from being an average learner to a super learner. Can anybody tell me an entrepreneur who they think is a super learner? When I say super learner, who comes to mind? Anyone? Elon Musk, yeah, he's huge. He has multiple billion-dollar businesses, and he's learned how to create those crazy ideas that he just makes them take off. Anybody else? Any other super learners? Richard Branson would be another one. Again, multiple companies, really incredible entrepreneur.
I would say Bill Gates.
Bill Gates would be another one. No one as sort of a super nerd that grew his business to the mega corporation that is today, as Microsoft. So yeah, Bill Gates is one of the guys that I think about. He's known as a bit of a book nerd, the computer programmer that'd be in the basement till his skin turns green. But he also is a learner from people. So one of his quotes is, "We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve." So there's lots of good resources online, although the people that you meet and the people that you idolize are the people that you can learn from, and getting feedback is a great way to kind of boost your ability to learn. Another one, as mentioned before, would be Elon Musk. Someone asked him, "How did you learn to build rockets? That's not something most people learn." And he simply replied that, "I read books." So very simple, billion-dollar, industry mogul, and he's talking about the power of reading books in order to learn what he needed to in order to essentially create something new and exciting. So why is learning important? We all know we need to learn. We have to learn pretty much to survive. Why is it important? Charlie Tremendous Jones said, 5 years from today, you'll be the same person that you are today, except for the books you read and the people you meet. So 5 years from today, you're not going to change a whole lot except for the people and the books that you're learning from. Charlie Tremendous Jones was instrumental in popularizing the personal development industry. So your growth and change will be proportional to your ability to learn from the right people and right books. So there's a lot of books, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of information online. We need to be selective as to what we're learning from the right people in order to increase our growth. Some of the benefits of reading: abilities to see opportunities others miss. So the more knowledgeable you are, the more you know, you'll be able to see opportunities that other people don't. You'll also be able to steer yourself clear of bad opportunities that maybe other people don't know enough information about to realize that they're not a good opportunity to go in on. The capacity to adapt quickly to change. So everybody knows things are changing much more rapidly today than they did yesterday, and they're going to continue to change more rapidly tomorrow. So your ability to adapt. Increased confidence. If you know your stuff, you're going to be confident about it. I'm sure we've all started a new position, a new job, gone in on a new investment, and we don't have the confidence as someone who's experienced, who knows their stuff. So that's the difference. And improved income. Generally, the more you know and your ability to put that knowledge into something valuable is going to be the baseline of your income. So like anything, if you're going to be starting something new, you want to create a plan, you want to create a blueprint. You don't want to just start hammering some boards together. You need a proper plan, a set of plans and blueprints in order to create something special. So we're going to create a learning blueprint. Everyone here, I'm sure, has goals. So in order to reach those goals, you're going to have to learn some new things. And you want to be learning what's going to be most beneficial to you reaching your goals. So a lot of times people think, okay, a year out, 2 years out, 3 years out, I want to accomplish this. And they get hard at work on it. But you have to realize that in order for you to accomplish what you need to, you're going to have to learn a lot of new things. So if you can learn those things quicker, you're going to get to your goals quicker as well. So write out your learning goals with daily action plan. It's not enough just to write them out or to have goals. You need an action plan, mini steps in order to reach your big goal. So I think goal setting is probably something everyone here knows fairly well. One example would be if you're a salesperson and you want to increase your sales, let's say 50% this year, which is a big goal. You would want to make a goal of having coffee with 5 salespeople, maybe this month, 5 of the top salespeople you know. Ask them questions, learn from them. People are very intelligent. They've already gone before you. They've made the mistakes. They've learned things that you don't know. And that's who you want to be connected with. And then ask them, what are the top books that I can also learn from in order to reach my goals? Another great technique, if you have problems staying consistent, if you have problems with maybe procrastination, grab a calendar. Mark off each day that you're working on your goal. So if it's a small amount of time or a large amount of time, put an X on the calendar, and you will soon have a chain of X's, and you won't want to break that chain. Meanwhile, you will have developed a habit. You need to be doing things daily if you want a habit in order to get you where you want to go. So eliminating time wasters. I think everyone here has probably been on social media already today. Probably one of the first things they do when they wake up. And there's the time that we're on there, which might only be 5-10 minutes at a time. It's not big, but one of the things most people don't know is that when you're constantly distracted, when you're constantly checking your phone, looking at emails and this, it's actually wiring your brain to be distracted. So you're setting yourself up for distraction instead of setting yourself up to be focused. And focused, deep, meaningful work and deep, meaningful study is where you're going to see the results much quicker than if you're constantly distracted, and it will be harder to concentrate. It's also important to take breaks. So take a break from your learning, take a break from your job, sit by yourself, get out a notepad, do some journaling, and use that kind of third thing of knowledge where you're actually doing creative knowledge and sort of combining everything that you know and what you're thinking and putting it in, creating something new. So now, how do we boost our learning? How do we get better at learning? So the first thing, most important thing, so if there's one thing I can get across to you today, is you want to be selective at what you're learning. So just because something is interesting or popular doesn't mean that you need to know it. You want to be very selective of what you're learning and who you're learning from if you want to reach your goals. So be selective with your learning. Study sessions of 40 to 50 minutes are ideal. So this is the period of time that most people can stay focused for straight set of time. You want to eliminate your distractions and really just focus on what you want to learn. And you'll be surprised how much you can get done in 40 to 50 minutes when you're not constantly distracted. Adequate sleep as well. So a lot of entrepreneurs think that, if I stay awake longer, if I get up earlier, I go to bed later, I can do more things and I can accomplish more. When in reality, you're sort of accomplishing more shallow tasks and not able to complete the deeper kind of meaningful work and tasks that you should be doing as an entrepreneur. Writing notes, also very important. I see pretty much everybody has a pen and paper, so I think you all know the importance of taking notes, not just to refer to it later, but it also helps you remember it better when you're learning. Teaching something as well. Prepare a presentation, prepare your notes as if you're going to teach them. This will give you the ability to comprehend and think of it on a deeper level. So now that we know how to boost your learning, can anybody tell me the greatest mentor of all time? This guy? It's pretty awesome, yeah. Anybody else? Greatest mentor of all time? Yourself? Okay. All right, I'll give you a hint. One of his students was instrumental in defeating the Galactic Empire. It's this guy here, Yoda. He's quite epic. Your mentor might not be quite as good as this guy, but he will help you quite a bit in your life. I can guarantee you that. So why learn from others? We can get everything we want online. All the information is pretty much free. We can learn anything we want. Although there are things that you'll learn from people that books and resources online cannot give you. So Richard Branson said that if you ask any successful person, they will always say they've had a great mentor at some point along the road. So Richard Branson's mentor helped him create his Virgin Airlines. He didn't know anything about airplanes or having an airline, so he sought someone who had already done that, who was an expert, and he learned from that person and created Virgin Airlines. We talked about Bill Gates earlier. So Bill Gates, he knew his stuff about programming, but did he know how to create a billion-dollar industry and business? He learned from Warren Buffett. Warren Buffett was one of Bill Gates' mentors and was instrumental in the reason that he is so successful today. Mentors can help you see the big picture and what's possible. So they're outside of your business, they're outside of your world. They can see things that you can't, and they can give you inspiration and ask you questions that will bring out the best in you and maybe make you realize that what your goal is not, that you can accomplish more than just what you've set your goals at. Mentors also provide valuable feedback, accountability, self-confidence, and motivation. So these are things you can't really get from books. So instilling that self-confidence, that accountability, some of those personal character traits, these are the things that a good mentor can bring out in you. You also have conversations with your coach that you won't have with other people. So everyone here has probably had one of those life-changing conversations, whether it's with a teacher, a friend, maybe your spouse, and mentors will be another source of this. Those conversations that really affect you deeply, they change the way that you see the world and see your life. And that's the kind of power that you can get from having a good mentor. That being said, don't rely on other people to make decisions for you. No one knows you or your business as well as you. So you have to be thinking for yourself. Don't just take everything you read and everything your mentor says at face value. You have to realize what's real and what's true for you in your life. So you always want to be thinking about what you're taking in, not just accept it because someone's told you it's that way. So now we're going to move on to the second kind of phase. So we learned how to learn from people, from mentors. Now we're going to look at how to boost your reading skills. And the first thing that you need to get across is read for action. So when you're reading, ask yourself, how can I use this information? You should be looking through the book and looking for information that's actionable. If it's not actionable, it's not really that worth knowing. It's great to know a lot of things, but if you can't make it valuable and put it into action, it's not going to be worthwhile. So Tony Robbins said, I love quotes, but in the end, knowledge has to be converted to action or it's worthless. So Tony Robbins knows this well. You can know a lot of stuff, but are you putting it into action and making it valuable? What you choose to read and not to read is the key to maximizing your desired results. So how many people here have a reading list of books that they will not be able to finish in a year? I see a lot of hands. So how do you choose which books you read? Is it just the first one on your list or the one that sounds most interesting? You want to be choosing the books, and within each book, you want to be choosing the information. Check out the contents. Books are structured in a way to show you what's inside the book without you having to read through the whole book. So you should be searching for information within a book and searching for the information that you need in order to reach your goals. So you don't need to read the full book if maybe there's only a few chapters of actually the information that you need from the book. So being selective, again, very powerful. Create a reading goal. So if reading is important to you, if learning is important to you, create a goal and block out some time each day to make sure that you're staying on your goal. Use the calendar method, 30 minutes, 1 hour, whatever you need to make a reading goal. So this technique here helped me double my reading speed. It's using a simple pen while you're reading to skim the page. So if you got a book, and instead of just reading the book, your eyes are going to go back and forth. You're going to look back over it. You're going to start thinking about what you had for lunch or whatever and get distracted. Use a pen and just scan the page with your pen as slow or as fast as you need to. But this will help you keep your eyes moving in a straightforward line, help you stay concentrated and make you an active learner. I sometimes use a straw too. I find a pen gets heavy after 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes of reading. So I use a straw as well. It's also a good reminder when you have a pen to be taking notes. Some people think it's taboo to write in a book. It's untouched. Don't write in a book. But highlight a book, underline it, put stars, put page numbers, whatever you need to do. The book is yours. This way too, if it's a good book, you're going to want to read it again. And why would you read one, through a book and then have to read it all over again? So if you mark in the book the important parts of the book, you can flip through the book and pull out the important information within 20 to 30 minutes. So who here wants to be in the top 1% of income earners? A few of you. How about having the top 1% of strong, meaningful relationships with your spouse or with your coworkers? There's lots of points where, we want to be in the top 1%. That's what we're striving for. And does everybody know who this is? Anybody? Brian Tracy. He's epic. He really is. He authored over 60 books. He's been speaking, for so many years. And Brian Tracy, if he's got it right, he says if you read only one book per month, that will put you in the top 1%. Just one book per month of income earners in our society. But if you read one book per week, 50 books per year, that will make you one of the best educated, smartest, most capable, and highest paid people in your field. Regular reading will transform your life. So Brian Tracy, amazing person. And after talking with, on so many stages with so many amazing entrepreneurs and, billion-dollar business owners, he knows his stuff. So learning and growth, it's a natural part of human development. Since we're kids, we've been learning. Kids are amazing learners. If there is a super learner, it's children. And this growth helps to affect, I think an ongoing topic so far has been the ripple effect that we all see through wanting to be better, whether that's for the people around us or creating better businesses, is that ripple effect. Learning and growth does this for you as well. And this is how we can essentially affect the world. It starts on the personal level. It's how an acorn can go from being very tiny to a huge tree that provides a lot of benefits. So if this information has helped you, if you want to learn how to read better, some tips, tricks, and techniques, I've created a mini course to give you some skills on how you can, better learn from books. So if you'd like to receive my mini course, you can email me at boostyourlifecourse@gmail.com, or just connect with me on social media, send me a message, say, hey, I love your course, and I'll email that to you for free. That concludes my presentation. I see I'm quite well ahead of time. I wanted to give away a book today, and I wanted to know who's the last person who started their first business here. Is there anybody who started their first business within the last year? Okay, last 6 months? 3 months? 2 months? Today, I think you're the winner. Congratulations. There you go. Awesome. Yeah. Perfect. Okay, well, we've got a lot of time left. Questions, anybody? Or anything you want me to expand on? Anything you didn't understand? Sure.
Top 3 books you've read lately.
Top 3 books I read lately. Deep Work. Just finished that one. I really like it. It's the idea is very simple. The book has quite a bit of extra stories and things in it, but Deep Work, it's about being able to focus, and within a year or whatever amount of time, if you're actually consciously putting effort into deep work, how much you can accomplish in a very short period of time. And most people can concentrate on really deep, meaningful work for about 4 hours per day. So if you're saying you don't have time, then you're doing a lot of shallow tasks that are just eating up your time. 4 hours per day of really deep, quality, meaningful work is about the maximum, and that's what the top performers will do. Second book that I've read lately, I've reread this one a couple times, but The E-Myth for small business is huge. It's about standardizing your business. I think Darcy had mentioned that as well. So The E-Myth, very important. Another really good one.
Profit First is huge for entrepreneurs.
Profit First? Yeah, definitely. So I think a lot of people can run into a problem if they're not watching their numbers. Make sure you're doing your bookkeeping, like you said, and your accountant's on point. Yeah. So I'll do two more. 80-20 principle is another great one. So focusing on that 20%, that will give you the 80% of your results. This is another time saver, realizing that you don't have to do 100% of what's on your plate. If you do the top 20%, you get that done every day, you're going to be already far ahead without having to eat up your time with all the little, things that are kind of taking up your time. So that would be another one. Yeah. How about yourself? What's a good book that you've read lately?
I haven't read very many lately. I've got a library. They're just waiting.
Yeah.
They're like cabinets.
Yeah, I think we all have that. We see a good book. It's like, oh, I have to add that to my list. The next thing you know, you have 100, 200, 300 books. Yeah. So before I get to your question, just side note, I do have a YouTube channel where I summarize the books that I've read in about 10 minutes. So if you're more interested in watching a video and getting the key benefits from a book, there are summaries, not just my own, but lots on YouTube. If you see a book that maybe you think is interesting, but you don't want to take the time to read 300-400 pages, you can check out summaries online. You had a question there?
Yeah. What speed reading?
Yeah.
The way that they have courses for speed reading.
Mm-hmm.
Do you believe that in being able to
Yep.
read a lot of books, or does it actually take away from the book because you're reading it so fast it's hard to really assimilate and put it into action?
Yeah, so both those points are correct, I would say. Speed reading is a technique, it is a skill. I think a lot of people with reading sometimes, it's like anything when you start new, you're not going to be as good at it as when you've practiced. So I think really, professional speed readers, they are able to go through a book much quicker because they've developed the techniques and they've practiced at it. That being said, generally the faster you read, the less you're going to comprehend, the less cognition you're going to get. So for myself, if I'm really into a book, I will read slower. I'll use my pen to kind of check my reading speed. Some books, some of their information is repetitive or you learned it somewhere else. So in those points, I will just be kind of doing broad strokes with my pen and just taking in paragraphs at a time. If something sounds interesting, I'll stop and kind of figure it out. So I wouldn't say there's a consistent speed that I read every book at. It depends on the book and the information. If it's very technical, you're going to be slower. If it's more, story-based, maybe you can go a little quicker. It depends on your own reading style. That's where selection comes in as well. Usually if you read the first paragraph of a chapter or the first sentence of a paragraph, you can understand what the rest of the chapter or the rest of the paragraph is about. So if that first paragraph or first chapter sounds like something you already know or not interesting, you can just skip to the next part. So that's how I approach reading. I know there's a lot of material out there to speed read, but it's a technique, it's a skill. Yeah.
I got one more question.
Sure.
What is the best or most effective book or best favorite book you've ever read? If I get asked that question.
Yeah, it's hard to pick one, right? My favorite book that I've read, I would say the most impactful would be Think and Grow Rich. It's a go-to for probably most everybody. I read it when I was very young on my entrepreneurial journey, but that's the one that kind of opened me to a world that I didn't know before. Rich Dad, Poor Dad was what kind of started me. The concepts were new, but they weren't, they were understandable. Whereas Think and Grow Rich, it really resonated pretty deeply. That there's a lot of things that I didn't know, I guess. So it brought up more questions than it answered, sort of, if that makes sense. And that's what really opened a lot of doors. Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, thank you, Derek.